I'm Staff Sergeant Harv Davies. Harv is H-A-R-V. Davies is D-A-V-I-E-S. And I'm with the Central General Investigation Section. A man has been charged with making threats against two Crown prosecutors. In March of this year, the Calgary Crown Prosecutor's Office reported they had received an email containing specific and targeted threats against two prosecutors involved in a case. The Calgary Police Service investigation led to a man being identified as a suspect and arrest warrants issued. On Friday, July 19th of this year, the man was arrested by the Lethbridge Regional Police Service. Benjamin Ernest Christensen, 27, formerly of Calgary, has been charged with 2 counts each of extortion, intimidation of a justice participant, and uttering threats. It is alleged that threats were made in order to have charges dropped in the case of an associate of the accused. Christensen appeared in court today, being Tuesday, July 23rd. There was one email threat threatening 2 different prosecutors.
Have you had dealings with this guy before?
I'm not prepared to identify any association that the individuals had with the police.
Was it threat causing bodily harm? Was it threat causing death?
And I'm not going to identify the specific nature of the threat, just that it was targeted and overt.
Just to clarify on that, so if a case hypothetically is threat causing bodily harm or threat causing death, would those charges, like, are there 3 types of charges with threats? Because you just have...
Well, there's numerous ones. So there are specific charges in relation to threats against the judiciary, and so that's the ones that have been charged late in this case.
Can you say how unusual or usual this kind of charges would be?
So we don't get a lot of cases of threats against the Crown that come to our attention, but it's certainly not an isolated case.
Are there any special provisions in cases like this that would allow people in the justice system to be afforded some sort of extra protection until the charges are laid?
Well, the Alberta Justice and Solicitor General's Department have their own security department, and they look after and implement their own security measures. We work with them toward that goal, but they have their own people in place.
Can you say the relationship of between the 2 people, like the guy that was trying to protect the other guy and get him off his charges? Like,
right.
If you're going to do something that extreme, you must have a close relationship.
Yeah, they do have a relationship. The nature of that relationship, we're not certain.
It sounds like this was a pretty lengthy investigation. You just said that it began in March.
That's when it was first reported to us.
Can you talk a little bit about why it takes so long?
Well, there was a bunch of different things we had to look at. I mean, there was an email component, so we had to use our cybercrime team and get some search warrants to recover some items and some further evidence. We had to deal with the Crown's office to make sure that security was looked after for their people. Our behavioral sciences unit was involved in this, so there was a lot of different moving parts in this investigation.
Was there extra security put in place?
For the Crown, and you'd have to speak to their ministry for that. We worked with them in making sure that their prosecutors were safe, but I don't know the specific measures that were put in place.
Pardon my ignorance, at what point does a threat reach the threshold of charges? Is it because they have an ability to carry it out, or what takes it from a threat to one
that charges are laid? So certainly we have to have the evidence to support that charge. So in a lot of threats cases, that evidence may not be there to support the charge, but all the threats and certainly threats against the judiciary are taken very seriously by us. And so we're going to investigate them to the full extent, and if the evidence is there to support the charge, then we'll go ahead and lay that charge.
So in this case, besides that one email, was there other evidence that would show that this person was very capable of carrying out that?
Suffice it to say, the evidence was there to support the charge.
Were there any weapons seized?
No.
And does the individual live in Lethbridge at the time of the threat?
I don't know the exact timing. He formerly was a resident of Calgary.
Great. Is there any mental health components to this, or do you know if the Crown is asking for any mental health assessments?
You'd have to talk to the Crown about that.